Most people think skin tags and warts are just cosmetic, annoying little growths that don't mean much. But here's something most dermatologists won't tell you. These small skin changes often reflect deeper shifts in your immune system, metabolism, and even stress hormones. And understanding how to remove them safely, naturally, and sometimes even overnight starts with understanding what your body is really trying to tell you. Let's start with something counterintuitive. Skin tags aren't caused by external irritation. They're often a sign of internal friction. When your insulin levels are consistently elevated, your skin responds by growing excess tissue in areas with friction, like the neck or underarms. Warts, on the other hand, are viral, caused by strains of the human papillomavirus, or HPV. But not everyone exposed to the virus gets them. Why? Because whether or not a wart forms has more to do with your immune response than the virus itself. Here's the thing. Your skin isn't just a barrier. It's an active, intelligent part of your immune and nervous system. It listens. It reacts. It mirrors what's going on beneath the surface, from blood sugar fluctuations, to cortisol levels, to micronutrient status. So if you want to remove skin tags or warts fast and effectively, the smartest approach isn't just topical, it's biological. And that sips what we started diving into today. We'll break down 6 key tools, all backed by science, that can help you remove skin tags and warts safely, support your skin's immune function, and actually make these changes last. We'll explore why zinc deficiency makes you more prone to warts, how sleep directly affects your skin's ability to heal, and why certain oils, when used correctly, can signal your skin to eliminate a growth on its own, sometimes within hours. This isn't about hype. It's about tools that work because they're rooted in how your biology actually functions. By the end of this episode, you'll walk away with a complete protocol, lifestyle tweaks, nutrition adjustments, and natural topical solutions that are safe, science-backed, and powerful. Let's get into it. There's a specific reason some people get warts and others don't, even when exposed to the exact same virus. The difference isn't just genetics. It's the immune system. More specifically, it's how well your body's T cells respond to viral skin infections. And that sips where zinc comes in. Zinc is an essential trace mineral, but more importantly, it's one of the core regulators of your body's antiviral defense. It helps your immune cells recognize infected tissue and ramp up the response to eliminate it. If you're low in zinc, your immune system is basically underpowered, like running antivirus software on a computer without enough RAM. Multiple studies have shown a clear link between low zinc levels and persistent warts. In a 2002 double-blind study published in the British Journal of Dermatology, patients who took oral zinc sulfate 10 milligrams per kilogram of body weight saw complete clearance of their warts in over 80% of cases, far more than the placebo group. So what's SIPs happening here? Warts are caused by human papillomavirus, HPV, which enters through microtears in the skin. But HPV only causes visible warts when your immune system can't shut it down quickly enough. Zinc doesn't kill the virus directly, it helps your body recognize it and respond before it can spread and take hold. A simple tool to apply is this. If you have persistent or recurring warts, consider checking your zinc status. Most people don't realize they're borderline deficient. The recommended daily allowance for adults is around 11 milligrams for men and 8 milligrams for women, but therapeutic levels for wart treatment are often higher, typically 30 to 50 milligrams per day short term. Topical zinc also works. Zinc oxide creams, or zinc sulfate solutions, applied directly to warts have shown measurable success. What's happening in your skin is that zinc triggers local immune activation, almost like calling in reinforcements to a specific area. Here's an analogy. Imagine a fire alarm system that only works in some rooms of your house. Taking zinc orally boosts the overall alertness of your system, while topical zinc is like installing a smoke detector right above the fire. Both matter. There's also a subtle but powerful behavioral angle here. Supplementing with zinc doesn't just treat a symptom, it reinforces a mindset of supporting your system from the inside out. That's a shift from, let me burn this thing off, to let me make my body more resilient. And that shift tends to ripple into other health habits. Now, a quick word on safety. High-dose zinc should be used in moderation. ideally under guidance if you're using it beyond a couple weeks. Too much zinc can interfere with copper absorption or cause digestive upset. But in short, when used wisely, it's one of the most well-studied and effective tools we have. Here are steps how you can start. For oral support, zinc picolinate or zinc gluconate 30 milligrams daily with food for up to 2 to 3 weeks. For topical use, look for 10% zinc sulfate solution or a zinc oxide cream. Apply once or twice daily to the affected area for a few weeks. Pair it with adequate protein intake and vitamin C, both of which support zinc absorption and immune function. If you've struggled with stubborn warts for months or even years, this might be the quiet deficiency standing in your way. If you've noticed small, soft growths around your neck, underarms, or eyelids, those are most likely skin tags. They're harmless, but they tend to show up more often as people move through their 40s, 50s, and 60s. But here's what most people don't realize. Skin tags are one of the earliest visible signs of insulin resistance. Let's break that down. When your cells become less responsive to insulin, the hormone that helps move sugar out of your bloodstream, your body starts compensating by producing more of it. Over time, that excess insulin affects your skin in surprising ways. Studies have shown that people with high insulin levels are significantly more likely to develop skin tags. In fact, dermatologists sometimes use skin tags as a clue to screen for prediabetes. Why would a hormone like insulin affect the skin? Because insulin isn't just a blood sugar hormone, it's also a growth signal. When it's chronically elevated, it can trigger skin cell proliferation, particularly in areas that experience friction, like under the arms or around the neck. That's why skin tags tend to cluster in those zones. So what can you do? Here's the good news. Improving insulin sensitivity doesn't just help your metabolism. It can directly reduce the formation of new skin tags, and in some cases cause existing ones to shrink or fall off. One simple tool to apply is light movement after meals. A short 10 to 15-minute walk after eating significantly lowers post-meal blood sugar, which means less insulin is needed. You don't need a gym session. Just an easy stroll around the block is enough to change the way your body responds to food. Another key strategy is meal timing. Research shows that giving your body longer fasting windows, such as a 12 to 14-hour overnight fast, can improve insulin sensitivity. You don't need to do extreme fasting. Just stop eating after dinner and push breakfast a bit later. That small shift gives your metabolism a break. And of course, cut down on high glycemic foods, refined sugar, sweet drinks, and highly processed carbs. They spike insulin faster than anything else. A 2010 study, published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, found that participants who improved their insulin sensitivity over 6 months saw noticeable changes in skin texture, oil production, and abnormal growths, including fewer new skin tags. Here's another way to look at it. Skin tags aren't just random. They're signals. And when you respond to them by supporting your metabolic health, you're not just improving your skin, you're improving your long-term risk for things like diabetes, heart disease, and cognitive decline. Have you ever had a doctor mention that connection? Most don't. Which is why we're here to give you the full picture, the real tools, and the actual science behind what your body's trying to tell you. And if this kind of content is helping you think differently about your health, if you're seeing how skin reflects the systems beneath the surface, consider subscribing. This channel is all about unpacking the science and turning it into action. No fluff, no fear tactics, just tools that work. Let's talk about what you can put directly on a skin tag or wart to actually make a difference, not in weeks or months, but sometimes in hours or days. Certain plant-derived oils have powerful properties that go far beyond just moisturizing. Some have antiviral compounds, others help break down excess skin tissue, and some signal the immune system in your skin to start cleaning up damaged or infected cells. The key is knowing which ones actually work and how to use them safely. Let's start with one of the most well-known, tea tree oil. This isn't just an old wives' remedy. It's been studied for its antimicrobial and antiviral effects. Tea tree oil contains a compound called terpenin 4-ol, which has been shown to inhibit viral replication and reduce inflammation. In a 2008 study published in Complementary Therapies in Clinical Practice, researchers used tea tree oil on common warts and saw a complete resolution within 12 days in some cases. The best way to apply it? Mix 1 to 2 drops of tea tree oil with a carrier oil like coconut or jojoba oil and apply it directly to the wart or skin tag once or twice daily. Cover it with a small bandage if possible. This traps the oil on the skin and gives it time to absorb. Now let's go a level deeper. Oregano oil. It's more intense, and you have to be careful with it, but it contains carvacrol and thymol, compounds that break down cell membranes and have strong antiviral activity. This makes it especially useful for warts caused by HPV. But here's the thing. Oregano oil is hot. It can burn the skin if used undiluted, so it's critical to mix it with a carrier oil, at least a 1:5 ratio, meaning 1 part oregano oil to 5 parts carrier. Apply it only to the wart or skin tag, never to surrounding skin. The protocol for this is simple. Clean the area gently. Apply your diluted oil mixture directly to the wart or tag. Repeat twice daily. Give it time. In some cases, results show up in 3 to 10 days. One other interesting option is castor oil combined with baking soda. This is a slower remedy, but it's effective for certain kinds of skin tags. Castor oil is rich in ricinoleic acid, which has anti-inflammatory and tissue-dissolving properties. When combined with baking soda, it forms a paste that gently dries out the growth. It's like triggering your skin's self-cleaning mechanism. You can make this at home. Mix a teaspoon of baking soda with enough castor oil to form a paste, apply it to the tag at night, and cover it with a bandage. Repeat nightly. Over the course of several days to a week, the tag may shrink and fall off on its own. So what's happening in the skin during all this? Think of these oils as sending a signal. They either disrupt viral replication, stimulate immune activity, or dry out excess tissue. But they work best when your internal environment, zinc levels, insulin sensitivity, nutrient status, is already being supported. Here's a practical analogy. Using a topical oil without fixing your biology is like putting a high-end polish on a car with engine trouble. It might look better for a moment, but it's not going to last. That's why the layered approach, internal plus external, is so effective. Before we move on, a quick word about expectations. If a wart or tag doesn't respond after 2 to 3 weeks of consistent topical treatment, that's a signal. It may require a different approach, which we'll cover later, or it might be something that needs a dermatologist's eye. The goal is not just to remove what's visible, but to strengthen what's underneath. When most people think about skin health, they focus on creams, lotions, maybe hydration. But if you really want to speed up skin repair, especially with things like warts and skin tags, you need to go deeper, down to the cellular level. And that's where specific nutrients become powerful tools. Let's start with vitamin A. Vitamin A is essential for cellular turnover. It tells your skin cells when to divide, when to mature, and when to die off. Without enough of it, dead skin cells linger longer, and the regeneration process slows down. This matters because warts are essentially overgrowths of skin hijacked by a virus. If your skin isn't renewing properly, that virus has more time to take hold. Topical vitamin A, like retinoids, has been shown to help in wart treatment. But what's even more foundational is making sure your body has enough vitamin A from the inside out. Think egg yolks, liver, or high-quality supplements. A 2009 study published in Dermatology online journal found that children with persistent warts had significantly lower serum vitamin A levels than those without. Next is vitamin C, and this one's a multitasker. Vitamin C is necessary for collagen synthesis, which is how your skin stays strong and elastic. But more importantly for our purposes, it's a cofactor in immune defense. It helps your skin's barrier stay intact and fuels the production of white blood cells that target viruses and abnormal cells. Here's what the research shows. People with low vitamin C take longer to heal from cuts, infections, and yes, viral lesions like warts. If you're trying to remove a wart naturally, optimizing vitamin C can make your immune response sharper and faster. An easy protocol. Add a vitamin C-rich food to each meal: bell peppers, citrus, kiwi, even broccoli. And if you supplement, aim for 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day. More than that isn't necessarily better. Your body has a saturation point. Now let's talk vitamin D. And this one's critical, especially for people over 50. Vitamin D isn't just about bones. It's actually a hormone that regulates over 200 genes, many of which involve immune function. Studies have shown that people with chronic warts often have low vitamin D levels, and that supplementing can trigger resolution when nothing else has worked. One 2013 study in the Journal of Cutaneous and Aesthetic Surgery used intralesional vitamin D injections to treat common warts. After just 2 to 3 doses, most patients experienced full wart clearance. That's how potent this vitamin is when your immune system has access to it. You don't need injections to benefit, though. A daily dose of 2,000 to 4,000 IU of vitamin D3, especially if you're not getting regular sun exposure, is a strong, safe place to start. Pair it with vitamin K2 for better calcium regulation and absorption. So here's the takeaway. If your body is underfueled at the micronutrient level, healing will always feel like a struggle. But when you give it the raw materials, A for skin turnover, C for repair, D for immune coordination, you create an internal environment where warts and skin tags don't stand a chance. It's like handing your body the blueprint and the building blocks at the same time. Before we move on, take a moment and ask yourself, have I had my vitamin D levels checked in the last year? Do I eat nutrient-dense foods daily or rely mostly on packaged and processed options? Am I addressing the root system, not just the branches? Because when you do, the surface-level issues, like those tags or warts, often take care of themselves. Here's something most people don't associate with warts or skin tags: their sleep quality. But if you zoom out and look at the systems involved, immune function, cellular repair, inflammation, it becomes obvious. The skin doesn't operate in isolation. It's constantly responding to the chemical messages your brain and body send throughout the day and night. And one of the most powerful messengers, cortisol. Cortisol isn't inherently bad. It helps us wake up, handle stress, and regulate inflammation. But when it's elevated chronically, due to poor sleep, late night light exposure, emotional stress, it starts to suppress your immune response. And here's what happens when that immune suppression hits your skin. The cells that detect viral infections, like those caused by HPV in warts, become less responsive. Your body misses the cue to target the infected area. Healing slows, tissue growth lingers. And what you're left with is a wart that hangs on for weeks or months, not because you didn't treat it, but because your system wasn't in a state to respond. The same logic applies to skin tags. Remember, they're linked to insulin resistance, and cortisol has a major influence on blood sugar. Poor sleep and elevated nighttime cortisol both make your body more insulin resistant, increasing the likelihood of metabolic signals that lead to skin tag formation. So, what can you do? Here's a surprisingly powerful protocol. Anchor your circadian rhythm with morning sunlight and consistent sleep timing. In neuroscience research, including studies from Dr. Sachin Panda's lab at the Salk Institute, morning light exposure has been shown to reset the brain's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which in turn regulates cortisol release. If you get 5 to 10 minutes of natural light within 60 minutes of waking, cortisol rises in the correct pattern. A sharp spike early in the day, then a gradual taper into the evening. That rhythm supports immune readiness, metabolic balance, and skin recovery. Then at night, the key is cutting light exposure in the 90 minutes before bed, especially from overhead lighting and screens. Blue light suppresses melatonin, which your body needs for immune repair. A 2017 paper in Nature Reviews Immunology showed that poor sleep directly reduces the number and activity of natural killer cells, the exact immune cells that help clear viral infections like warts. Think about that for a second. You could be applying the right oils, taking the right supplements, eating well, but if your sleep window is fragmented or out of sync with your body's rhythm, your immune system may not have the time or resources to do its job. Another tool? Magnesium before bed. Magnesium glycinate or magnesium threonate can help lower nighttime cortisol and deepen sleep. Start with 200 to 300 milligrams about an hour before bed. Also consider cutting caffeine after 2 p.m. Even if you fall asleep, caffeine can reduce deep sleep stages where the most restorative immune activity happens. So here's just the big picture. Skin is regulated by your immune system. Your immune system is regulated by your circadian rhythm, and your rhythm is set by your light habits, stress management, and sleep quality. Start there, and your body becomes exponentially better at clearing up those small but stubborn skin issues. Not because you're attacking them harder, but because you're supporting the system that's designed to eliminate them. By now, we've covered the internal tools, zinc, nutrients, blood sugar regulation, and sleep. We've looked at topical oils that support natural removal. But what if you just want the thing gone, quickly, cleanly, and with minimal hassle? That's where cryotherapy or freezing comes in. Cryotherapy works by applying extreme cold, usually liquid nitrogen or a cryogenic compound, to the skin, which destroys the cells in the targeted area. The cold essentially causes ice crystals to form inside the skin cells, rupturing them and triggering a healing response. The body then sloughs off the dead tissue over a few days or weeks. Now here's the key. Cryotherapy doesn't just remove the visible growth. It also signals the immune system to pay attention to that area. That's important for warts, which are viral, and it's helpful for persistent skin tags, which may require a localized inflammatory signal to trigger detachment. In clinical settings, dermatologists use liquid nitrogen, reaching temperatures as low as -320 degrees Fahrenheit, applied with a cotton-tipped applicator or cryospray. It's highly effective, especially for warts on the hands and feet. One study in dermatologic surgery found that over 70% of common warts were completely cleared after 2 to 3 cryotherapy sessions, spaced 2 weeks apart. But what about home freezing kits? Most over-the-counter cryotherapy kits use dimethyl ether and propane. Not as cold as liquid nitrogen, but still effective for small warts and tags. These kits typically come with foam applicators and instructions to freeze the lesion for about 20 to 40 seconds. After treatment, the area usually blisters slightly and then scabs over. So do they work? For many people, yes, if you use them correctly. But here is what matters. Use once per lesion, not repeatedly in one day. The skin needs time to respond. Don't pick at it afterward. Let the scab form and fall off naturally. Picking can delay healing or cause scarring. Don't use on sensitive areas like eyelids, lips, or genitals. These areas require medical supervision. And always combine freezing with internal immune support, especially for warts. Here's the analogy I use. Cryotherapy is like pulling the fire alarm. It forces the body to respond. But if your fire department, meaning your immune system, isn't equipped, the fire may come back. That's why what we've talked about in parts 1 through 5 matters just as much as what you do externally. And if the lesion doesn't respond after 2 or 3 treatments, stop. That's a sign to get it looked at. Occasionally, skin changes that mimic warts or tags can be early signs of something else, like seborrheic keratosis, molluscum contagiosum, or rarely skin cancer. But in most cases, combining internal support like zinc and vitamin D, immune-aligned habits like sleep and blood sugar regulation, and direct removal via cryotherapy or targeted oils is the most comprehensive and sustainable way to handle skin tags and warts. One last pro tip after any cryotherapy treatment: apply aloe vera gel or a vitamin E-rich balm to support healing. These reduce inflammation and help the skin rebuild faster with less risk of scarring. Let's zoom out. What we've covered today isn't just a toolkit for skin, it's a window into how interconnected your body really is. Skin tags and warts might seem like small surface-level problems, but they're often the body's way of broadcasting something deeper: immune dysregulation, hormonal imbalance, nutritional gaps, or metabolic stress. And the real power comes when you start listening. Let's quickly recap the 6 core insights. First, we looked at zinc, a critical mineral for immune activation. Whether taken orally or applied topically, zinc strengthens your body's natural ability to target and clear viral infections like warts. Next, we connected skin tags to insulin resistance. That's a wake-up call. Something as small as a fleshy bump under the arm could be a metabolic red flag. But with smart changes, like light movement after meals or adjusting your eating window, you can improve insulin sensitivity and reduce new growths. Then we dove into topical oils, tea tree, oregano, castor. These natural compounds, when used with care and consistency, can signal your skin to break down viral tissue or excess cells without invasive treatment. We also explored how vitamins A, C, and D create the conditions for repair. They're not just optional nutrients, they're the biological materials your skin needs to defend, rebuild, and regenerate. In part 5, we pulled back the curtain on the role of sleep and cortisol. This might have been the most surprising insight, that your immune readiness, including your ability to clear a stubborn wart, is shaped by your circadian rhythm, your light habits, and your stress load. And finally, we broke down cryotherapy. Whether you're using clinical nitrogen or a home kit, freezing can be effective when it's timed well and supported by the rest of your biology. So what sips the message here? That healing happens in layers. Yes, you can treat the surface. You can remove a wart with a freeze or shrink a skin tag with oil. But when you support the system underneath, your immune network, your hormones, your micronutrients, that's when results stick. Because your skin isn't random, it's responsive. It listens to what you eat, how you sleep, what you're stressed about, and even how consistent you are with simple habits. Here's your challenge. Pick one of these 6 tools and start today. Maybe it's getting sunlight in the morning to reset your sleep rhythm. Maybe it's starting a zinc supplement for 2 weeks. Maybe it's doing a 10-minute walk after lunch. Keep it small, keep it doable, but take action. And watch what happens, not just to your skin, but to your sense of agency over your health. If this kind of breakdown was helpful, if it made you look at your skin a little differently or gave you something real to work with, then I invite you to subscribe. This channel is about empowering you with science-backed tools. No hype, no fear, just clarity, context, and action. And if you've got a story, maybe a remedy that worked for you, or a question about something that didn't, drop it in the comments. We're building a community that learns together. Your body is always speaking. When you learn to listen, even something as small as a skin tag becomes a doorway to better health. Thanks for being here. See you in the next one.